If you've been in school for a while, you probably know about the mono story, better known as the hero's journey. Basically, it is the theory that every story has the same traits. A setup where we meet the world, the protagonist, and their mentor. A gateway where they step into the unknown. Challenges in training, the darkest hour, the brightest moment, and then a return to the world once more, but changed. The monomyth is an umbrella of story. Underneath that umbrella, you've got fiction, sci-fi, every genre that has its own quirks and traits. But some things are universal and are mentioned in every genre. Everything is connected, so that's why so many characters are biblical analogies. Like Firestar from Warrior Cats being Cat Jesus. I would link the Lizard Wizard video here, but it's a lizard wizard. One of these universal things is Shakespeare. He was a master of the English language and made some words that we use every day. He undeniably influenced the English language to a way that we see his works pop up today. The title of John Green's The Fault in Our Stars is actually a quote from his historical work Julius Caesar. The Lion King is just a reskin of Hamlet, as many people have pointed out. Darkstalker is a tragedy, and once you see it, there is no unseeing it. So let's take a look at the similarities. Before we get started, if you're new to this channel, please think about subscribing. I regularly post both Wings of Fire and Warrior Cats content, so you'll never be bored. And to my current subscribers, thank you so much for supporting me. I wouldn't have gotten here without y'all. Without further ado, let's begin. The dichotomy of good and evil is an important theme in Shakespeare's works. Well, I mean, that is an understatement. This duality can show up in a variety of ways, such as love and war, duty and love, literally everything in love. It takes many forms in Darkstalker as well, most notably animus magic. The use of animus magic is rumored to erode one's soul. Darkstalker believes that animus magic is not evil, but the way you use it is, whilst Fathom believes it is an ultimate evil and should never be used. Good and evil is also represented quite literally with the hourglass, where black is good and white is evil. This is a flip on cliches that we often see where black is evil and white is good. It shows how the story will not be like the one we've all read in the series up until now, where our protagonists win and live happily ever after. It also hints at Darkstalker having both good and evil in his heart, as he is half Icewing and half Nightwing. Another dichotomy of all tragedies, not just Shakespearean ones, is fate versus free will. Two of our protagonists can see the future and fight against certain destinies and for others. Both of them try to find their way into a good fate, even killing to do so, but along the way lose sight over what is really worthwhile and end up going down the worst possible path, thus losing their fight. The Animus characters also all fight against their fate. After Albatross's reckless use of Animus magic ends in a massacre, all the Animus dragons know that could happen to them. They fight against their souls corrupting, some of them doing so even as they use more magic. Darkstalker and Arctic, who tried to fight against their fates and be good Animus dragons who used their magic, failed. Arctic died and Darkstalker turned evil, but Fathom, by embracing his fate and not using Animus magic, is able to live. Greed is another element that they have. Darkstalker is greedy for power and will do anything to get it. Though initially he is reactive, not using his powers and letting events play out as intended, eventually he steps in and becomes the Queen's Animus. He, despite his own standing, plans to take the throne for himself. The largest element that I feel like Shakespearean tragedies have is a heavy emphasis on revenge. In Julius Caesar, Antony takes revenge for Caesar's death by sending a mob to the conspirators' doorsteps. In Romeo and Juliet, the families Capulet and Montague are in bitter generations-long dispute. The origin for the dispute is unknown, but it is fueled on by the constant cycle of revenge between the two families due to the murders. Revenge is the cause for the backdrop of Darkstalker, the Ice Night War. The Icewings want revenge on the Nightwings for quote-unquote stealing their animus. Albatross wants revenge on his sister for being so dismissive of him. Darkstalker wants revenge first on the Queen Vengeance, who sent an assassin to kill him, however then on his father who kidnapped his sister. Which brings us to family murder. It is not required but is an added bonus that a large number of plays revolve around. Darkstalker opens up with a massacre of family by one of its members, that being Albatross. Editor's note here, Darkstalker's revenge causes his downfall. His need for revenge on the Icewings causes him to become more and more cruel. He suggests genociding the Icewings using Animus magic, and when he doesn't get his way, he psychologically tortures them using the dagger. His use of more cruel methods displaying his powers will causes the Queen to eventually turn on him, and also causes him to lose his own moral compass. Diamond wants Arctic to murder his own children, who are her grandchildren. Darkstalker eventually murders his own father. Another minor thing is the third-person omniscient audience. This means that the audience knows what the characters do not. In Greek tragedies, this information is often relayed through the chorus and creates a sense of irony. In Romeo and Juliet, it is conveyed through the opening soliloquy. In Darkstalker's fate is relayed to us through reading the previous books, and knowing he will kill his own father and be put to sleep under a mountain. We also get this through Clearsight's visions and Darkstalker's own visions. Another thing not exactly required is the supernatural. In Macbeth, there are witches. In Darkstalker, there are many supernatural aspects at play. There's animus magic, future sight, and mind reading. Really, just take your pick. A tragedy would be nothing without its tragic hero, and I feel like it is fairly clear who that is. In most tragedies, the tragic hero is a namesake, and that is no exemption here. Darkstalker is definitely the tragic protagonist. He is the most proactive character, first of all. Most of what happens in the story, especially in the finale, is a result of his actions. Now let's go through a checklist of what makes a tragic hero. A hero must start out in higher standing so it can make their fall all the more dramatic. Most Shakespearean protagonists are kings, lords, heroes, warriors, princes, etc. at the start of their story, and Darkstalker is a prince from his father's side. He is born under 3 moons and is also an animus. A hero must elicit pity and fear. Darkstalker is pitiable, he has a bad home life and everyone hates him for quote-unquote causing the war. He shows fear in his ruthlessness. He enchants himself to become invincible and tries to change other dragons to his whims, like making Fathom more confident in his animus powers, which may cause him to become evil. A hero must not be all good, but not all bad either. We can see this very clearly. He has many good futures where he raises his children and is beloved by the queen and all other Nightwings. There are also futures where he usurps the throne of the queen and tortures other dragons. He also has the hourglass, which shows his soul, and for most of the book, it is a mix of good and evil that gradually takes a turn towards evil as he lets his ambition take the best of him. Lastly, a Shakespearean hero must be responsible for their own downfall. Darkstalker was responsible for his. If he hadn't hidden the bad futures from Clearsight, the most powerful seer alive and his girlfriend who understood him, she could have helped him avoid the bad futures. If he hadn't been so narrow-minded and listened to Fathom about using animus magic even though he had the scroll, maybe then he wouldn't have kept on using it so negatively. All these traits can also be seen in Fathom. He begins in higher standing, elicits pity through his fear of his own powers, but also gives us fears we know what he can do with them. He's not all good, but not all bad either. He refrains from doing the right thing sometimes if it involves animus magic. One of the only traits he does not share with Darkstalker is that he does not cause his own downfall, but he does end up with a lower standing of life than he was at the beginning due to his actions. However, despite that lower standing in life, he is still happy, which is more than what we can say for Darkstalker. Fathom is an effective foil to Darkstalker. They are practically the same dragon. Both were discovered as animus dragons. The only difference was that Arctic was abusive and not violent, and Albatross was violent and not abusive, and no one detected that until after the massacre. That event is what changed the trajectories of their lives forever. Darkstalker felt like he could avoid becoming evil due to animus magic, but Fathom believed otherwise. Whilst Fathom's attitude was defeatist, Darkstalker's was ambitious and he fought against his own fate. He lost, but Fathom won by accepting his own destiny. Darkstalker also kept on living through his visions and dreams, whilst Fathom lived in the present. I think all this is what makes Darkstalker so appealing to people. We knew what his fate was before we even read Darkstalker, so when we read it, we felt angst knowing all of his wanting a better future was for naught. It makes him seem incredibly determined to fight against his fate like that. Darkstalker is just a poor little scrunkly. We all almost like to see him suffer because he tries to overcome it, and that determination is good. And also because there's a lot of bad in him and we like to see bad people suffer. Part of it is also catharsis. While catharsis is often something positive, like seeing a ship we like come true, it can also be for negative things like revenge. We are promised someone who will fail in their quest to be better, and we get it. That is immensely satisfying. If you like this video, feel free to subscribe. I make Wings of Fire and War Cats videos pretty often, and your support would mean a lot to me. And to those already subscribed, thank you for your continued support. I wouldn't have gone here without y'all. Without further ado, Rogan out.